newsreels, you saw a children's story, the heartbreak of evacuation in France and England. Through the Low Countries, the Nazis' lightning conquest had a diabolical pattern, the psychology of mass fear preceding their armor, driving bewildered, panicky citizens from their bombed-out cities. For this unknown man, there was blindness. While for this man, smirking over the fall of France, there was ecstasy. Next, Britain. American audiences looked long and hard at pictures of London in flames. The newsreels were making it plain, ominously plain, that Hitler's timetable was deadly accurate, and we were next. Miraculously, Britain held under the bulldog leadership of Winston Churchill, granting us one final breathing spell. Meanwhile, the power-crazed Nazis attacked Russia, ravaging as they went. At the time, these pictures seemed unbelievably cruel, even for Nazis. We could not then imagine the mass atrocities that were to come. Belsen, Dachau, Buchenwald. Back here, our calendar had flipped to December 7th, 1941. At the State Department, two Japs who had stalled for hours kept a Sunday date with Cordell Hull. While they talked inside, our cameraman photographed a clock outside. How could he know he was putting onto film the precise moment of infamy? And you saw Pearl Harbor. Now the arsenal of democracy began sending men as well as materials to global battlefronts. The greatest reporting job ever attempted began. Miles of film came home. You were to see American boys fighting, dying, the bitterest war in history. Cameras caught it all and made this indeed the People's War. Then one day in our editorial rooms, we got a surprise message.
I want to say a few words to the newsreel editors. You are, I believe, the only editors I never see. But I do see your work constantly. And I want to take this opportunity to express my thanks to you for the fine job you are doing here on the home front and with our armed forces everywhere on the fighting fronts. Your work is and has been most helpful, not only to our own people here in the United States, but to the millions of others throughout the United Nations as well. It is a very real contribution.
So, from the Aleutians to torrid South Pacific jungles, you followed on film. You saw your sons on D-Day. In the Pacific, you were scared, like everyone else, by kamikaze, the Jap suicide pilots. You saw the Navy destroy Japan's whole fleet. Then the beach at Iwo Jima, and one night in the darkened theater, your heart all but burst. Within months, it was over. Aboard the Missouri, the Japs surrendered to MacArthur. 4 years of pent-up tension broke loose with a roar. Your thoughts and your thanks went to our leaders, Eisenhower in Europe, and MacArthur. But the commander-in-chief, the architect of victory, was not there. Franklin Delano Roosevelt had given his life in line of duty. You had seen in your newsreel what 12 years in the world's biggest job had done to him. Just before the 1932 elections, a youngish FDR. And then... and finally from Yalta, February 1945, these all-revealing portraits.
From Hyde Park came portraits, simple portraits of grief and of hope. Hope for this, the era we are entering. Desperate hope that in 1947 and the years beyond, we shall make secure for all the brotherhood of man those 4 freedoms for which Franklin D. Roosevelt had labored. And this new year, the search for peace is well begun. The United Nations meeting to guard peace. Men from every land, planning for men of every land and every faith. For the world has mightily changed. This was the camera portrait of Operation Crossroads. And this world, in tension and in turmoil, stands today at its own crossroads. Never before in history has knowledge been so sorely needed. Knowledge that we may understand one another. Knowledge born of news. The people must see and know. And to this we rededicate your newsreel. With the free press, with the free radio, we turn our camera to the future, to new decades. And this we pledge, to mirror the living history of this new world in fearlessness, in fairness, in honor. We will report on the world at work, the world at play, and we hope the world peace. In this, we seek to serve, that the eyes and ears of the world shall bring the truth, to let the people see, to let the people know.